We interrupt this broadcast with this urgent message.
Oh, no. This did not happen.
Checkalook.
Welcome everybody to Game Hype.
It sounded good in the beginning. I could hear the music.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't know why we couldn't hear it. I was like, making noises.
I was like, that'll do for music.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Welcome everybody to Game Hype. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a jam-packed episode of news today, so we're just going to jump right into it here. Joining me today is my co-host Troy Osborn, my co-host Sam, and my co-host Colin.
They call me Coco Boy.
So we're going to jump right into it here. E3 2021 plans have been announced.
Live, right? In studio?
No, God damn it, Troy. Xbox and Nintendo are involved. Sony is not.
Of course.
Ubisoft has said they are going to also join in the festivities of E3.
Because Ubisoft is awesome, okay?
I mean, for the most part.
part.
So... yeah, we've got, here's the list. Appearances from Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Bros. Games, and Koch Media, which is, I believe, Deep Silver.
I think you mispronounced that.
Which part?
The Koch Media.
Okay.
K-O-C-H.
It's owned by the Koch brothers.
Okay.
So...
I'm sure it is.
I bet it's Koch Media.
I'm sure it is. Oh, we're immature.
Okay, so Sony is absent from the plans thus far. Other major companies missing are EA, which did their own thing last year.
Yep.
Square, Sega. Yeah, Square had their own thing because they had fucking Avengers.
Does Sega do things anymore?
I mean...
if you tell them to.
Yeah, Sega was Publisher of the Year last year. For real.
What?
They were voted Publisher of the Year. They had they own Yakuza.
Okay.
Like, they have a, fairly large amount of properties. I can't think of any of the other ones that they listed.
Like
but
Publisher of the year. They released that one game.
but there was like 5 or 6 games that they, Bandai Namco hasn't said anything. Tencent, 505, Activision Blizzard. And I think we can assume that Devolver Digital
We'll have their own
going
thing.
to join in on the E3 festivities. We really have got to see where that story goes. That's actually probably my favorite part of it.
It's pretty exciting. I love E3. It's always great to see all the video games coming out.
Yeah.
It's crazy that like I feel like we just watched E3 last year.
Well, it
just feels so recent. Like that was like I'm. I mean,
it's coming up here.
It's coming up. I'm excited for what's going to be announced.
Yeah.
Maybe a God of War trailer. Nope, that's PlayStation.
That'd be Sony, right?
Sony.
Right. So Sony may have their own thing at the time of
they
E3.
could have a Beyond or whatever.
Right.
But maybe.
So E3 will take place from June 12th to June 15th. So I will talk to my bosses at work about getting some days off there.
I should be having a baby around that time.
Okay.
Well, my wife will be having the baby. But,
hopefully you do have it around June 10th, and then you can leave her home with the baby, and you can come over here to record the podcast.
I just bring the baby in.
Does it say what time?
Oh.
What time does E3?
So E3, I mean, it's a 3-day thing. So usually Microsoft goes first in terms of press conferences once they do the press conferences.
New Xbox.
Usually like middle of the day.
Yeah, let me look up the actual what days that is. So June here. So June 12th is a Saturday. And I think last year Microsoft did their press event on Sunday morning. So it's like... it was technically 1 our time, but it was 10 Pacific time.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is where they do it in California.
We were like driving somewhere, and I had that on, and they were like, "You probably shouldn't drive and watch this." I said, "I'm not watching. I'm listening."
Right, but with this being an online thing, so they're going to do all digital this year, since they literally didn't do anything last year. So they've got plans to do this for all digital. So I wonder if like for the Game Awards, they did, that was like a live thing where people could stream it on Twitch and stuff like that. So I'd imagine it'll be something like that, but between like Xbox, Capcom, Nintendo, Konami, like you can assume that Nintendo's thing's going to be recorded.
Yeah.
Because the directs always are. But Xbox always does theirs live.
Yeah.
Like normally for E3, it's always live. Like are we going to get a recorded Xbox thing this year? Does Phil Spencer
I think we'll get the same.
Okay, we're going to cut to Seattle.
We'll get the same thing as last year, where it's like everybody at home still, because I don't think California's really out of it yet.
Right.
So they're still going to be Phil in his office, and the rest of them in their offices, going around the table talking about whatever they're presenting.
Okay. So if we're going to do this
full COVID thing,
if we're going to do this, with scripts and stuff like that, then I'd imagine some of that stuff has a chance of leaking out.
Yeah.
Beforehand, as it always does. So yeah, excited about E3 coming up here.
Free event for all intent. This is the one E3 we can go to.
Right. They were
afford to go to.
They're actually talking about like doing a paid tier right before the news dropped that this was actually going to happen, like a digital event. There was a rumor going around that they were going to do like some sort of paid thing to experience digital E3. And then obviously people were mad. And I don't know if they had actually intended that or not and were like back down from it, but there's no paid thing. It's all going to be streamed online for free.
I'm definitely excited about that.
Yes.
Nintendo always seems to put out some good stuff each year. Maybe some more Pokemon
Hopefully
stuff.
we get some more Pokemon stuff. Breath of the Wild 2.
New Mario, some of the Breath of the Wild 2.
Yes.
Gotta get some information on that.
Smash Bros 2. Yeah, it's gonna be the second
they still
one.
keep adding DLC, like maybe more Smash Bros DLC.
More Smash Bros.
Good
DLC,
for them for not trying to make another game.
Yeah, Fighter Pass 2 just,
and it's a good game. Like I don't know why they wouldn't want to make a new one. There's really no need unless you make it look better.
Make a new one with Goku is all I'm saying.
Do we get
Marvel versus Capcom?
We'll do E3 full E3 prediction show before E3.
Yeah,
How about that? So let's not. I don't want to go into that at this time because we got a lot of news to get to here. So next bit of news comes to us from Eurogamer. Outriders has launched, and the launch of said game, Outriders, has dwarfed Marvel's Avengers.
Dang.
Outriders, Troy and I talked about that on 2 weeks ago, I think, podcast, where we had played quite a bit of Outriders for a little while. So on Steam, People Can Fly's new shooter Outriders has hit over 100,000 concurrent players.
that breaks what I was gonna say. I was like, it's Game Pass.
No, this is Steam only, so we don't have any counts of what's on PlayStation and what's on Xbox.
Wow. It's kind of
so on PC only, 100,000 people were playing a $50 game. Well, $60 in the US, $50, 50 euros.
I want a euro.
So
they're closed, Sam. It's too late.
As a point of comparison, the article says Square Enix high-profile flop Marvel's Avengers hit a peak concurrent player count of 28,000 on Steam when it launched in September.
Yucky.
Currently averaging 1,000 concurrent players over the last 30
rough,
days.
dude. That's kind of rough.
Horrible.
Yeah.
What's bad about that is they just released Hawkeye and they're still only 1,000
nobody's
people
playing that fucking game.
Increase in numbers. I didn't play it.
I want to play it again just because I want to try Hawkeye, but I still haven't actually played the full version of the game. I don't think. I think I just.
They tried to Avengers a video game and like add a bunch of stuff and get everybody together, and it just didn't work.
So they suffered some server issues over the weekend for people that were trying to play. I did not try and play it. I was too busy playing Call of Duty, as stated in the crazy train of thought part of the episode. Like, I played so much Call of Duty. But good for them. Like, I'm glad People Can Fly. Like, I'm glad Outriders is working for them and that people seem to be liking this game and want to play it. I think it's really cool. When we talked about it on our episode, it's awesome. So move on from that. I just wanted to compare that to Avengers because I know we've shit on that game quite a bit. And this is like just one more kind of like nail in the coffin.
Yeah. One more like turd on this game.
Does like, do they cancel Avengers? Like, does Square Enix fucking pull the plug on that motherfucker at some point?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I think they should have done it like the actual Avengers movies, is have a movie for each individual big,
and then already have all those
six, at least
those bones together,
exactly,
to then bring it all together.
Yeah,
because
then
too hard. I made a decent Hulk game. I made a decent Cap game. I made a decent, 4 or 5 decent games, and then bring them all together in a game.
But listen,
that's expensive.
If there's only 1,000 people playing this game,
we're not going to get
on
that
average over the last 30 days on Steam. Like, you got to imagine nobody's buying their fucking skins.
No.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's blowing 1,000 people not blowing money on this game. That it's not leading to millions and millions of profits for Square Enix.
Or Marvel.
Or Marvel, right. Like, how much
Marvel's got to be pissed.
Pay for the license?
Marvel's got to be pissed.
I'm sure Disney is upset. Absolutely. Yes. Like, you expected this thing to be this smash fucking hit, and it bombed.
Yeah.
And it's still bombing.
It's still bombing to the day.
I don't know how you get people to come back.
Even like bringing in one of the Avengers that they promised, and it's still nothing.
28,000 is not that many people to start with.
No.
And like B, like, it's not good. It's down to 1,000. You're at a 28th of what you were to start with. All right, let's move on from that. Next bit of news. This comes to us from Ars Technica. Loot boxes too similar to problem gambling, quote unquote, to avoid regulation, according to a report. So there was a gambling firm recently did an assessment of loot boxes and compared them to how close do these things strike to the chords of actual gambling? Because that's one thing that we've debated time and time again on this podcast is this gambling?
Yeah, loot boxes are old friends of ours. Really.
So yeah, old friends. That's that was one of the very first episodes that you and me and Austin talked about that, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So they really, let's see here, who did this? So researchers have entered the loot box conversation in droves with a new report that's published by researchers on Friday that seeks to answer the question, why do gamers buy loot boxes? So the group Be Gamble Aware suggests that loot box purchasing motivations are directly correlated to problem gambling behaviors.
This is why I don't go to casinos, because I already am addicted to opening
card
cards.
Collecting and all that dumb shit.
Yes.
The data drives the report's conclusion. Regulators should apply the same rules to loot boxes that they do to other forms of gambling because despite seeming differences, they have enough in common to merit stricter controls.
Yeah. Stricter controls, but when you gamble, you make money.
So
when you do things, you buy things, and you just get things you don't like for money.
So the gambling research firm summarizes and describes both the history of loot box monetization and the subsequent blowback, whether from fans, critics, or regulators. The report also outlines the amount of internal regulation being done by game companies, which is not very much, to say the least. Usual loot box talking points about demonstrated scenarios and variable ratio enforcement schedules, which are... It's like a science term here.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to explain it. I was like, I hope he does.
VRR, or the expectation that rewards are random.
Oh, I see.
Have a different psychological impact than if a player knows what they are buying outright. Which is a classic loot box trait, obviously.
Right.
Like back when loot boxes were really big, it was like, I could get this epic thing. I could also get this terrible thing.
Right.
But I could
some of which I might already have.
Yes. Yep. I really want that epic thing, though.
Right.
So I'm going to keep going. Bye.
You don't know how many times on Paladins, when they were they've kind of gotten away from loot boxes on Paladins a little bit. But I'd be like, okay, I've got X number of crystals. I want the one skin for this character in this box.
Yeah.
But I have 14 to choose from, and on Paladins you can't get skins you already have, which is nice. Once you have them, they don't come up again in the box. But yeah, I'm gonna open that box, and I'm gonna open another one until I get the one that I want, and then I have.
You're gonna open you're gonna open the one that you have from earning the free crystals, and then you're like,
I could just spend $8 more and get more crystals.
Yeah.
So a good point to this article, though, is game makers have been keen to make clear that these boxes' aesthetic similarities have aesthetic similarities to real-world slot machines, like flashing lights, satisfying sound effects, and this is not accidental, according to the study.
What? Game design?
No way.
Oh, for real?
There are in 2K19 or 20, there's a literal slot machine. That's your loot box. It's a literal slot machine. How the fuck is this not gambling?
Yeah, if nothing shows gambling more than that. It's
Right.
Honestly, I mean, they use the same principles in social media, like Snapchat. You really think it's not on purpose that you scroll that thing down and you get new results each time? Or Facebook, you push that thing down, new results. It's like pulling a lever, and you get flashing lights. You get a little circle indicating. It's all. I mean, it's a rewarding.
That's why I hate Facebook, because I scroll that thing down and I pop it back up. This could be the whole problem of not having friends again.
Oh,
that we've talked about before. But it's the same thing. Like I can do that, and then it pops back up, and it's like, I just read that like three pages down before.
Oh, you didn't.
Now it's on the top.
Exactly.
I thought this was super cool, like going into the science of why it's addicting, though,
which needs to be said.
Yeah, a lot of like people chime in about why it's gambling, and like I don't know that any of us on this podcast can be like, oh yeah, it's the variable ratio reinforcement schedule that really gets you every time.
I agree.
Like, so I appreciate them going into the specifics here. So let's move on from that.
Well, I have something to say about that. So like I have a bone to pick about like, all right, so it says it's similarities to a real world slot machine, like flashing lights, satisfying sound effects. Okay, have you ever seen a game that you liked that didn't have flashing lights or satisfying sound effects? Like
I think it's used in conjunction with you earning a reward by paying money for that thing.
And the money thing is the problem, but like, my problem lies with like, all right, so what, you want like a grayscale background with like a button that says click and that says here you go. Like that's not necessarily the malicious part. I mean, maybe
so the alternative would be like you get a reward at the end of a match in a list.
Sure. Like, and that's
not as exciting as you going to this separate screen with a separate reveal that you separately spend money on or whatever. Like that's how, like, they're explaining that's how they're hooking you.
Yeah. But the whole game's meant to hook you, is my point. And so if anybody's a decent game designer or a graphic designer, is going to design anything, it should hook you.
The whole game isn't gambling, though, is what.
Yeah, the game is designed to hook you to play it.
I know,
for sure.
But
like,
I'm saying that's not necessarily. I mean, it's used maliciously, but like similarities, and if they're going to be as vague as flashing lights and satisfying sound effects, which play into that sort of reward that you get if you score big, right? But I mean, it seems like pretty vague to me is all I'm saying, and like fair to disagree, but I think it's just kind of like another thing to add in there that doesn't necessarily have as much of a relevance as the reward that you get from getting what you wanted for paying money, rather than the lights and sound effects, which are encompassing the entire game, every single game out there. I
think I disagree, but that's all right.
That is all right.
No problem. Yeah, let's move on from that. Next bit of news comes to us from IGN. Would you like to read the title, Troy? This one's for you.
It is him. This is me.
Yeah.
In another life where I'm a little more spry than getting hurt.
Oh, come on. You could do it if you wanted to.
Spry as a cat, you could say.
Cat burglar, maybe. This man was arrested after a literal Pokemon card heist. A 28-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly using a rope to descend into a Japanese store and stealing Pokemon cards and cash.
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
Yeah, you can't buy them for like you. I don't have to wait for the.
This dude pulled a Mission Impossible.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
You say
so? Like right now, scammers or not scammers? What's the one where they buy it all up?
Oh, hoarders.
No,
you're like resellers.
Resellers. Yeah. So they're buying everything card wise up. Okay. So this guy was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna get it myself." And what if he was just trying to get there early? They didn't say.
You want to get the next paragraph there for us?
Okay,
Sam.
Tokyo resident Kensuke Nakanishi.
That's why we had Sam read that.
Is expected descending from a 60-story rooftop.
6-story.
6 stories.
A 60-story rooftop. I didn't stutter.
6-story.
6-story rooftop and into a top floor of the Higashi Ikebukuro district around 5 a.m. on March 23rd. Nakanishi allegedly made off with initially with 1 million yen, approximately $9,100 worth of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards, as well as 260,000 yen, approximately $2,370, not as much as the other one, and cash in the store office. Nakanishi later reportedly told authorities that he had committed the act to pay off a debt to Ash Ketchum. Ikebukuro police approached Nakanishi as a suspect after he was identified thanks to security camera footage of him being a total Chad.
Come on, he didn't even wear like a Eevee mask.
Yeah. Oh, he should have been the Pokeball guy from Sword and Shield.
Yes, the one, just Pokeball head. Yes, what do you do? I'm catching them all. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm a Pokeball head.
The worst part is he dumbly was stealing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Nobody wants those.
Yeah. He told police, I was a rock climber in high school, so I wasn't afraid of heights.
Yep. That sounds like a
legend.
That's phenomenal.
That sounds like a Japanese to English translation that was just vague and to the point.
Maybe. Yeah, that's great. Good for this guy for just really going for it. You know, you see something you want and you take it.
You take the risk and you get the flashing lights and light sounds. It goes like this.
No, it's from opening the card packs.
That was in Sea of Thieves.
Shit.
I was going to say the flashing lights are like the sirens.
Yeah, he got the reward of the sirens. So that's fucking great. Troy, would you do this? You know, if you had a...
I mean, how much are they worth, the cards?
Yeah, what do you think?
So...
Do you think they're worth $9,000?
They're worth $9,100, but how much are they actually worth? Like,
I might just have to plead the fifth.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Fine.
There's some local card shops that might be...
getting descended upon real soon.
They are way lower than 6 stories. I'm just saying.
I just
Give me
heard
that
the
escape rope.
I just heard the Dark Knight theme in my head and like the plane going over and he like parachuting and get clipped up and then go soaring back.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, what a Chad.
That's great. Next bit of news here comes to us from
I've been waiting for this news.
Video Games Chronicle. Professor names 3 new species of beetle after legendary Pokemon. An entomologist who discovered the bugs was once an aspiring Pokemon trainer.
This could be me.
This could be you if,
in like 20
if you
years.
were a scientist and you had a degree.
What if I get one?
You can go get it. Go to Eastern New Mexico University and get an entomology
That
degree.
seems like an easy thing to do.
The rest of them after Pokemon. Absolutely.
I would hate studying bugs.
So we've got, this is Dr. Darren Pullock, a professor of entomology at said university. Name the insects in question: Binburum articuno, Binburum multrace, and Binburum zapdos, in a research paper published in the Canadian Entomologist in December of last year. So this is a little bit old.
He named it after himself and then a Pokemon, by the way, if you read into this.
Oh, okay.
Binburum is the name Pollock coined. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so I thought it was saying in another language, Binburum means Pollock.
No. Binburum is the name Pollock coined when he first discovered a new class of beetles from Australia during his PhD research a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the thought.
I need to go catch those bugs.
You got to catch.
You should have those bugs in real life. Absolutely.
I wonder if I could.
Where can you like find them? Let's see. Where did he find them?
Australia, right? Maybe.
Well, he was in Australia during his time as a PhD. Let's see if it says where he found them.
I like the
It doesn't
idea
say.
of Nintendo being like, You're using our name? You sure you want to do that?
I mean,
claim.
Nintendo is the
they
people
smack
that do
a copyright
that.
claim on his fucking bug naming.
Right over the bug, smack it, smush it.
No!
Zapdos! What'd you say?
It was an endangered species.
He was legendary.
Pokemon, I could see Nintendo doing that.
That's fucking great. Yeah.
Let's hope they never hear about it.
Really cool. So he says that when he was young, he wanted to be a Pokemon trainer. And because of the rarity of the 3 new species, he suggested that they name them after the 3 legendary bird Pokemon. So I guess actually they are rare.
Yeah.
So we made that joke, but that's a real thing. So yeah, not much more to say there. Let's move on from that. Good for you, Guy. Thank you. Thank you for naming those bugs after Pokemon. That's amazing. So this is this is more of a public service announcement. When I was a kid, I watched a Star Wars movie called Ewok Caravan of Courage, and it was Ewoks Caravan of Courage and Ewoks Battle for Endor. So these are movies that they went straight to TV, made for TV movies, set in the Star Wars universe that flesh out things that happen on Endor they're officially Star Wars canon, but maybe not really exactly.
No need to be.
Softcore canon.
So, yeah.
Whoa.
Softcore Star Wars canon. Thank you, Sam. So they star, you guys know the diabetes guy?
Yes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
That guy. He's in these movies.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
So it's
Because the Ewoks catch diabetes.
so it's so him. It's like he's the dad or the grandpa. I haven't seen these movies in forever, so I'm going off memory here. He's either the dad or the grandpa, and he's on Endor with a young girl and a young boy. The boy's a little bit older than the girl, but the girl is like young Drew Barrymore from E.T. Like it may even, I don't know if it's her, but it looks a lot like young Drew Barrymore from E.T. And she goes off into the forest and gets captured by the Ewoks, and he goes like hunting them. It's like goes maybe a little bit darker than you think a kid show would.
Skinning an Ewok. This is gonna bring a nice pelt.
So I loved these movies as kids, and recently, like within the last 2 years, I've tried to buy these. You can't buy them digitally. I found the DVDs on eBay for like $150, and it was only produced one run on DVD in like 2004 by Lucasfilm
At like one Walmart in California
and it's like
or something.
it was a one-run thing. It was a 2-pack. You get the 2 Ewok movies, and like I just could not bring myself to spend that amount of money on an Ewok. They're not good.
You're a wise man. Sometimes I give you crap.
Thank you.
But that's a smart move.
But Disney has since pulled these things from the Lucasfilm vault and said, they're on Disney Plus, bitches.
This is the thing that you've been like waiting to pull the Disney Plus trigger on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like not
I've got
WandaVision.
Disney Plus. I've got I'm just,
Oh, I was gonna say, he's like, no, I'm just gonna use yours.
No, I've had Disney Plus for a while, but I'm so glad that there is a place where these things can exist digitally, where like I don't have to try and torrent them offline or buy a fucking
Bootleg
eBay
copy.
DVD, right, or a bootleg copy. Like, I'm glad that these exist. They actually put a bunch of them on there, and not all of them that I've seen. So there's the 2 that I mentioned, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor. There's also the story of the Faithful Wookiee.
Great picture book.
Ewoks, just I don't know if that's a show.
Cartoon show.
That's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Clone Wars 2D Micro Series Volumes 1 and 2.
I remember that.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Weird animation.
And Droids, which is coming later this year.
Anime, right?
Clone Wars 2 is like the grandpappy to like
this
the
says-
Clone Wars,
this
Clone
says-
Wars, right?
No, Clone Wars 2D.
2D Micro
It's a
Series.
mini series thing.
Oh, it's not like the one where there was like actually like drawn, not the Clone Wars that's like predecessor to the 3D one, right?
I think it's
really
the one
don't.
where it's actually drawn, right? I'm pretty sure.
'Cause that one was kind of lit last time I checked.
Yeah. I'm just gonna look up Clone Wars 2D.
Like that was the big one because I remember like looking at old YouTube videos of like the Clone Wars 2D one. I was like, dang, this is actually
it's the drawn one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they look really good. It's the one with like they're
legitimate,
super,
the legitimate anime.
Like Count Dooku's nose is the size of like Mount Everest.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
It was like legit
cool.
anime cartoon.
Yeah.
I saw the Ahsoka Tano and I was like, that doesn't look like her.
Clone Wars 2003 is when that came out.
That'd be what I would go for.
This will be our last bit of news.
And they call this vintage?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. This Star Wars
old
vintage
are you,
collection.
Sam?
No, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah. 17 years ago. Wait, 18 years ago.
You guys,
Old enough to
like, we should
vote.
watch these Star Wars movies.
We should do it.
Caravan of Courage specifically.
With Ryan's.
get some popcorn.
They're so good. Let's marathon. Let's do Caravan of Courage.
It's got to be
Battle for Endor,
on a Saturday
and Willow.
morning.
And Willow.
Early Saturday morning cartoon, though.
Willow, okay, if you do Willow, we gotta watch Lord of the Rings just so I could show you. Because if you had to drink poison, I gotta give you the antidote. Anyways,
them's fighting words, bro.
they were
On purpose.
I love Willow is better than Lord of the Rings, Sam. Willow is a fantastic.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, yeah, we can argue about this all night. Last bit of news. This was brought to my attention by Troy.
You're welcome.
Actually, so this is this reported to us by the Independent. There is a game.
It is a game.
So there's a game based on Seinfeld that is now going to be hitting PCs here pretty soon. So this is
a masterpiece.
What's this thing called?
Sinfeld Remastered.
Oh, yes. Sinfeld Remastered is the name of this game. So I'll put the link in the show notes here for those of you that haven't seen this thing. So this is a spiritual it's a horror game based on Seinfeld lore.
Yeah.
And it looks like you took acid.
Taking place in New York City, but like the character models are fucked. Like,
yeah,
it's
like a PNG image.
Horrific.
It's like
you could say
like Gary's mod, like video basically. Like one on Gary's mod made a bunch of like animations.
Ogre aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the old Gary's Mod YouTube poop.
So at the beginning of the trailer, the camera pans down and you can see the painted on the wall, the Van Buren Boys, which is a reference to the Van Buren Boys, and then Ass Man Was Here is tagged in graffiti on the wall. And there's references all over the fucking thing. There's a reference to Spider-Man. There's some Metal Gear Solid references in there. There's like video game, like a mashup of video game shit and Seinfeld shit.
This happened in Ryan's dreams, and somebody
this
sucked
is a
it out.
goddamn fever dream that they've pulled from my brain.
like the vaporwave music,
it's synthwave music. Like, I could not love more things about this. This is hitting. I mean, I don't really love horror games, I guess, but like,
that's the only part.
So weird.
I think it's only listed as a horror game because of how scary everybody looks. I honestly don't think there's going to be really that many scary aspects of like, oh, monsters chasing you and whatnot. But like everyone just looks horrifying, so it's just going to be naturally scary. So kind of like how Christmas Carol was with Jim Carrey. That was the most horrifying movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's there. Yeah.
CGI, they should have waited a couple more years before they released that because it was not good.
So it's almost
good for its time.
Part of it looks almost post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you're on the streets of New York. There's neon lights. There's, like Sam said, the synthwave music. When the camera pans out to presumably your character, he's wearing a jacket that says the Human Fund, which is a fake charity that George set up so he wouldn't have to give out Christmas presents. He gave out fake donations to charity at his work. He's an asshole. So much about this is amazing. Like I said, I'll put the link to the video in the show notes. So we did a little bit of investigation before the pod because
more than a little bit.
Colin's first thought was, this isn't real.
This is an April Fool's.
This is an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, that's
and like we're pretty close to that.
Popped yesterday. right?
Yeah, the news came out a day ago, so it's not an April Fool's joke. We're well past that.
Yep.
This isn't the KFC console.
So we'll go into some of what the article says here. So a trailer has been released for a new video game, horror game based on Jerry Seinfeld's hit Seinfeld, entitled Sinfeld Remastered. The game is being developed by indie studio Rarebird Games and features a host of references from some of the show's most famous jokes. It originated as a fan project on the PlayStation game creation platform Dreams, but is now being made into a standalone PS5 game. So I, over the weekend, debated selling my PS5.
You won't now.
I'm in. I'm fucking in. I am waiting for this game. This is amazing. The original Dreams version gave the
Gotta
game...
invite me over when you play it.
The original Dreams version of the game gave players the ability to explore three-dimensional reconstructions of Seinfeld locations, including Jerry and Kramer's apartments. As revealed in the bizarre announcement trailer, the updated version of the game includes references to other games from franchises, like we were saying before. They seem to be wanting to answer the question, what if somebody made a Seinfeld horror game? And like, this is amazing. Everything about this is awesome. Check out this trailer. We were checking into some of the other things that the developers had made.
They're amazing.
And I don't know how this doesn't have more views on YouTube.
Yeah.
So the developer, like we said, Rarebird Games, if you check out their YouTube account,
Their portfolio.
their portfolio, as it were, a couple of years ago, they did a short video, like 5-minute video series called Lil Stevie Wanders. And that is a goddamn acid trip for sure. Like it seems to be naked Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
And he's getting chased by police. I don't want to go into it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the story.
I don't want no spoilers here on this podcast.
Because we only watched episode 2.
Yeah, we watched episode 2 and not episode 1 because
That
we thought it
explains
was
why I was
highlight.
so lost, because I didn't get the context from episode 1.
Right?
That's right now.
So check out Lil Stevie Wanders.
Yep.
Yeah, Wanders, Lil Stevie Wanders on the YouTube account Rarebird Games. This is fantastic, and I would really look forward to getting these guys on the podcast to talk about this Seinfeld thing.
Yeah.
More people should see this. This is fucked. Okay, this is the trailer playing now. This is messed up. And I love it. It's so weird. Wow,
We should probably just go.
we gotta get these guys on here. We gotta go. Thank you everybody so much for joining us for Game Hype. Thank you, Troy, for being on. Sam, Colin. We're gonna end this thing. Thank you for sticking around on the stream, those of you that watched tonight, and thank you for checking out the audio version of this or the YouTube version, whichever you're checking out. We appreciate
Everywhere.
it.
We have it.
Check us out on Twitter. Email us any questions, comments, concerns, news you want us to talk about. Shoot it over to us. We'll dish on it. So, that gonna be it, bros?
That's it.
That's all.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
That's all, folks. What the fuck?
25 seconds.
Okay. The mics are gonna be hot as soon as he changes this. I want you to know that.
10.
9, 8.
So don't say
7,
we're live.
6, 5, 4,
I was telling her.
I know.
2,
Say it out loud.